Hey friends, and this here is how not to start your Italian dream day. There's a train strike today, and my husband decided, let's visit Riomaggiore, like it's no big deal. He woke me up before the sunrise, made me skip breakfast at the hotel, and we sit through 1.5 hours of twisty, nausea-inducing mountain roads from Rapallo. The drive was scary, with narrow roads right at the edge of cliffs. I was cold and hungry, and questioning his decision. The temperature felt sub 20 degrees Celsius, or maybe it was just my hunger talking. Either way, not cute. We've just parked the car at the topmost edge of Riomaggiore, at what felt like the end of the earth. Here the wind was rude, the cold was sneaky, and the vibes were questionable. It's 8:30 in the morning, and my mood was teetering between silent rage and sleepy confusion. There was not a single cafe in sight but just rolling hills, and a warning from gravity. Whatever you walk down now, means you're climbing back up later. So, no breakfast, no coffee, but just the smell of damp stone, and my stomach was already planning a mutiny. I smiled at my husband, but deep inside, I was not happy. Here's the weird part. With every step we took downhill, something magical started to happen. The fog started lifting, and we could catch glimpses of peach-colored facades and terracotta rooftops peeking through olive trees. So after a slightly dramatic descent, filled with complaints from me, we stumbled onto our first real landmark, known as the Oratorio di Santa Maria Assunta. Now listen, it's not some grand Vatican-style basilica, and there is no shiny gold ceilings, no marble dragons or 90-foot domes. But that's exactly why I liked it. After leaving the church, we started to walk past several small cafes, and I started to wonder if my husband was doing this on purpose. But the village was starting to get more and more beautiful. Stone by stone, alley by alley. And I'll admit, even though I was starving, freezing, and 98% cranky, I was also low-key falling in love. And all I could think was, okay, Riomaggiore, I see you. Now, please feed me. So after the Oratorio gave me a moment of peace, we kept heading downhill into the belly of the village. We turned a corner and I pointed to yet another bakery, and the smell hit me like a warm punch to the face. But my husband walked right past it, once more. I was now convinced, this guy is doing this on purpose. We walked through arches, brushed past potted lemon trees, and I swear the buildings leaned in like they were eavesdropping. The food smells were driving me insane. My blood sugar was at sea level, and my husband had turned into a tour guide with no snack stops. Do you ever get so hungry your brain starts inventing smells? And I swore someone was grilling something nearby. Just as I was about to collapse into a dramatic pile of hunger and attitude, we arrived. And here's the kicker. The moment we stepped into the piazza in front of the church, everything paused. San Giovanni Battista, Riomaggiore main church, was sitting right in the upper part of the village like it's been watching over these cliffs for centuries. Built in 1340, and still standing proud with its striped facade and rose window. Inside, there was this quiet stillness, and right there, just temporarily, I forgot that I was starving. This church took me by surprise. The air inside felt still, cool, like time had slowed. And there was a faint scent of old stone and wax, and maybe even a scent of history itself. Natural light filtered through tall, arched windows, casting soft shadows and a kind of glow that made the space feel more like a quiet embrace than a monument. Built in 1340, and quietly surviving centuries of salt air, storms, and tourists like me, this church is really old. We are talking centuries old. Once outside, I took a good look around me and then I realized it. You could see the building's rooftops cascade down like colorful dominoes, the Mediterranean glinting in the distance like a mirror, and it felt like we were standing in a painting. I stood there, holding onto the stone railing, thinking, okay, fine. You win, Riomaggiore. Then I did what any hungry woman should do in a crisis. I stormed into the next cafe I spotted, which was literally next to the church. I ordered 2 cappuccinos, a croissant, and a slab of focaccia that should honestly win awards. I didn't look at the name, I didn't check Google reviews. I saw tables. I walked in. And just like that, life returned to my soul. Like someone flipped on the lights in my body. Everything looked more beautiful. The village. The sky. Even my husband. Look at this view. Is it just my brain after food, or is it really this amazing? Everything suddenly looked gorgeous. Maybe it was the caffeine. Maybe it was divine intervention. This is the city hall, or as the locals call it, Comune di Riomaggiore, and you can't miss it. The views from here are next level. Terracotta rooftops glowing in the morning light, rolling hills that look as if they have been drawn, and the Ligurian Sea, just shimmering like it knew it was in a travel ad. For a moment, I actually forgot I was cold earlier, or hungry, or even annoyed. All of it melted under that view. This is a steep set of stairs, and I refuse to climb them up, so we will need to find another way. We took the path that veers right, a few steps past the city hall, and it's not a main road, but more like a sloping walkway, built specifically for amazing views and postcards. Think, low stone walls, wildflowers poking out, and the sound of the sea teasing you from around the bend. The hills that you see in the background required centuries of humans shaping rock and earth so they could grow grapes, olives, lemons, the things that make this region taste like summer and nostalgia. The train station comes into view next, perched oddly in the cliffs like it's defying gravity. In the distance, you can spot the legendary Via dell'Amore, winding off toward Manarola. It's mostly closed right now, thanks to landslides and safety concerns, but you can still see parts of it hugging the cliffs, like a whisper of what used to be. That descent down to the train station? It looked long. Really long. And my legs had already declared a soft strike of their own. And, going down there means that we would have to climb back all the way, later on. So we turned uphill instead. Because that's what you do when you're tired in Cinque Terre, you climb stairs, to reach castles. Here's the thing, when I saw the stairs leading up to the castle, my soul quietly left my body. But walking down to the train station, and then back up again to the car park, that was even less appealing. So, when you are visiting Riomaggiore, please prepare yourself for lots of hiking. And in fact, all the 5 towns of the Cinque Terre will require you to have strong legs. The path we took was not just stairs. It's a tight little maze. From here, we could see hikers walking towards Manarola, in the distance. This narrow alley we are on hugs tightly packed houses, with the smell of lemon trees. My calves were screaming, but the views peeking through every gap between houses kept pulling us higher. This is the Castello di Riomaggiore, and immediately, It is not some fairy tale fortress with towers and princesses. Built in the 13th century, to spot pirates or keep jealous neighbors away, it is now rugged and weathered. It's basically two circular stone towers and thick defensive walls perched right on top of the village, like a sleepy old guardian. From here, Riomaggiore laid out like a painting, with terraced hills to the north, blue Mediterranean to the south. The castle is open to visitors, but there is an entrance fee if you want to step inside. The castello sits at the very top of the village, in the oldest and most elevated part of town. This area feels different. Fewer tourists, fewer shops, and more silence. The alleys up here are narrower, more worn down, more local. See the wooden cross? So, you're standing at one of the most quietly dramatic viewpoints in all of Riomaggiore. From here, the Liguria coastline unrolls like a dream. This trail hugs the stone edge of Castello di Riomaggiore, with ancient stones, cold beneath our palms, as we trailed our fingers along them. Soon the rooftops of the village started rising to meet us, and we reached a cascade of colorful homes, stacked like Lego bricks. This path will take us back to a set of steep staircase, going down, towards the City Hall. We have already seen the City Hall, so we turned right, and now took another set of staircase that will bring us. Well, let us find out. But first, a little catwalk to cheer myself up. As we walked down toward the sea, weaving between pastel homes and stone walls, it struck me just how compact this place is. Riomaggiore is tiny, with a population roughly about 1,500 inhabitants. This cliff-hugging village is one of the 5 legendary gems of Cinque Terre, and depending on which direction you come from, it's either the first or the last. If you're arriving from La Spezia, Riomaggiore is your entry point to this UNESCO-protected coastline. It's just a 10-minute train ride through a tunnel, and once you're here, time seems to have paused, just long enough for the colors to soak in. The village is built like a vertical puzzle, with houses rising on impossible slopes, staircases masquerading as streets, and paths that sometimes feel like secrets only locals are supposed to know. There are no big hotels. And there are no traffic lights, but just one main street that trickles down to the sea. Cinque Terre literally means 5 lands, and Riomaggiore sits at the southern tip of the Cinque Terre. The Sentiero Panoramico is one of Riomaggiore most scenic descents, wrapping around the cliff edge with dramatic views, before pouring you right into the heart of the harbor. Just keep watching this video, and you will easily get what I mean. If time is short and you're only going to walk one path in Riomaggiore, make it this one. And while you are enjoying the views, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, if you have not done so yet. Do like and share this video with your friends, if they are like you, and love a good Italian adventure. This trail clings to the cliffside like it was stitched into the rock by hand. The views here are absolutely unreal, with a vertical jungle of houses, layered in colors that change with the light on one side, and an endless blue canvas, the Ligurian Sea, framed by the hills of Cinque Terre, folding into the horizon. Every few meters, you'll stop just to take it in. The waves crashing below, or just the scent of lemon trees mixed with ocean spray. As the path winds lower, it gently peels away from the open sea and brings you closer to the houses, and also closer to the soul of Riomaggiore. Down there is one of the best viewpoints along the path, but I must warn you, as it is super steep and slippery. But if you are feeling brave, go down that set of steps and the rewards will be totally worth it. So follow me, let us go down carefully. The views are amazing, but please, do pay attention to where you are stepping. Now, this is the perfect spot for a photo, worthy of all your social media accounts. Once down here, I started to notice how tight everything feels, and how Riomaggiore only spans about 1.8 square kilometers in total. The architecture here isn't accidental, in fact, it's defensive, it's historical. Invasions from the sea used to be a real threat, so everything was built upward, not outward. Okay, let us continue, as the path will spill gently toward the village's small, but vibrant harbor. We started seeing signs of the modern rhythm, when little shops tucked into crumbling archways started appearing, full of character. Here is another photo spot, but it is even more slippery. So forgive me for not going down there, but this is the view you will get. And here it is, the harbor of Riomaggiore. The stone ramp leads right into the water. This jaw-dropping spot is actually the lowest point in Riomaggiore. On warm days, kids jump off the rocks, couples sit along the pier legs dangling, and artists sketch quietly in corners you wouldn't even notice unless you're looking for them. We have gone from car park to the summit, where the castle is, and then all the way back down. And this little seafront, it's not just scenic. It's where the town began, because 1,000 years ago, the first settlements popped up in these cliffs, because of the natural protection this tiny cove offered. Back then, it was just fishermen and vines, but now, Riomaggiore is one of the most accessible villages of Cinque Terre, especially if you're coming in by train. My husband walked near the water to show you the views. There's a narrow stone path and staircase that leads off to the other side of the harbor, tucked discreetly beneath the houses. On your right, the sea crashes against jagged boulders, and on your left, the back facades of old houses lean in, weathered and silent. From here, you can look back at the entire harbor and realize how tightly the village wraps around this little pocket of water. This route will also lead us toward Riomaggiore Beach, which is a rugged, pebbly cove that feels like a reward for the curious. The beach itself isn't big and it's raw, not really the kind of beach you lie flat on. I'll bring you there in a minute, but first let me go down this path, nearer to the water, so that I can get the perfect photo, with the village as my background. This is my spot. You can sit on the rock, and you can enjoy the crashing waves, and the amazing view of Riomaggiore harbor. This is the breakwater, and it is that long arm of giant boulders stretching out into the Ligurian Sea. Okay, let's head towards that beach now. So far, we've wandered through the alleyways, peeked into tiny shops, stood at the cliff's edge near the cross, and traced the trail to the beach. And just ahead, this is the Riomaggiore beach, and to be honest, it is not your white sand beach. At this point, what do we think of Riomaggiore, compared to the other Cinque Terre villages we have explored so far? Well, for one, it feels more raw here, less polished, and maybe that's why it feels more alive. And that's exactly why I love it so much. Let's face it, the village is not trying to impress you with wide piazzas or perfect beaches. Here it's gritty and dramatic, a little louder, with steeper hills and wilder edges. It's also where you feel the power of nature pressing up against centuries of village life. As we walked back to the harbor, I kept asking myself this question. How does Riomaggiore stack up against Monterosso and Vernazza? Each of the Cinque Terre villages has a bit of a personality, and if they were siblings, they'd be very different. This is the third village we are visiting, and in the previous weeks, I brought you to explore Monterosso and Vernazza. And in case you have missed these videos, the links are up here and down below, in the description. Do watch them, and you can drop us a comment, let us know which one you prefer. We are walking towards the center of the village, looking inward, into the soul of Riomaggiore. This is the main path and it will also lead us back to our car, so it means it is all about going uphill now. In this UNESCO-protected village, even in peak season, there are still corners of real life happening, and that's what makes Riomaggiore feel so grounded. Riomaggiore might be the most vertical of the 5 towns. So wear good shoes, pack light, and expect stairs. Lots of them. The cost of staying here can range from €100 to €300 per night, depending on the season and what views you want. Groceries are modest if you're staying long-term, and restaurants can be on the touristy side, unless you know where to look. All this climbing made me hungry and tired, and my husband was kind enough to stop at this pizza shop for some delicious slices of Italy. Some locals rent out rooms, and you can live here, long-term, if you fell in love with the place. The rent for a small apartment is around €700 to €1,200 per month, depending on location and seasonality. But long-term rentals are rare though, and tourism dominates the housing scene. And don't forget, the train here is your lifeline. Well, that is, when it is not on strike. The weather was amazing now, the sky was brilliant blue, and the wind was gone. It was warm and sunny, just like a perfect summer day, in Italy. I was still hungry, so we ordered some more local food, and we started walking back to our car. This morning started with clouds, grumbles, and uncertainty, and I arrived here, hungry and moody. But now, everything was glowing and sparkling, and somehow, this little village carved into the cliffs pulled off a full redemption arc. Riomaggiore tested us, with its stairs, its drama, and its steep climbs. But in return, it gave us views we'll never forget, quiet corners of beauty, and a perfect Italian adventure, to close it all. Next week, we head just a few minutes up the track to Manarola, a village that's smaller, maybe even more romantic, and home to what might be the best sunset spot in all of Cinque Terre. So if you've enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, and drop a comment to tell us your favorite Cinque Terre memory and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss Manarola magic. This is World with Wife, signing off from Riomaggiore.